Hi everyone, my name is Jason. This project is part of the Pittsburgh studio focusing on the Hazelwood neighborhood. The project name is called The Synthesis. Set within Southwest Hazelwood, this project cluster is situated along the train line, west of 2nd Avenue and located along the South Lido Street. Indicated by the trail line and the pedestrian walk, cut off by the recycling facility, the site is in the forgotten corner. The design process involves background research, site visits, and community charrettes. And in the charrettes, we had a chance to hear what the local residents' ideas, and we had a co-design session. Many of the residents voiced their concerns about the safety issues and fears of change that the future development may bring. They also expressed their feelings about retaining the existing structures and adding in community art elements. Now, here is one of the graphics that we worked on. The pedestrian bridge. This place particularly is an unsafe area, but at the same time, it is valuable where it is an intersection of local legacy, indicated by the bridge where workers used to work every day. As indicated in the bird's eye view, there are limited connection to the neighborhood, and open lots are filled with deserted vehicles. In fact, this commercial use, as indicated by the color of red, is outweighing the residential indicated by the color of blue. As shown in the pictures, the deserted car lots also creates problem of soil containment and overgrown vegetations. And the second to the right of pictures particularly shows that there are vehicles spill over on the sidewalks, which is unfair to the future and local residents. The business includes an auto shop, towing company, and a graphic 22 design. Considering the rise in land values and the technology advancement in the future, I did a study on the outlook of the auto industry. As indicated on the top graph, the sales of electric vehicles almost doubled in 2018, and it is projected, according to Boston Consulting Group, looking at the bottom graph, the electric sales would take a jump to 20% in the year of 2030, and the alternating fuel combined to be outweighing the market shares of traditional gasoline cars. Furthermore, Pennsylvania is a supporter of clean energy. According to the electric roadmap by the Department of Environmental Protection, we are expecting a more thorough integration of electric infrastructure in the state of Pennsylvania. For thinking, this concludes the idea that the electric that it is beneficial for the auto shop owners considering developing business that is both economically beneficial and environmentally responsible. I also researched about the legacy of Hazelwood. The J&L factory was one of the most important things in this area, and the closing of the factory in the 1980s created thousands of job layoffs. At the time, there were small businesses such as the local produce stands shown in the pictures. The neighborhood is not lacking in histories and legacies. And the question that I asked myself throughout the design process was how to create a place that belongs here. Therefore, I strive to integrate the local legacy and the human stories into the design and keeping the future development in mind. Therefore, I want to bring the old and the new together. And my design principles are respect the existing long-term residents' economic sustainability, preservation of its individual legacy, safety and wellness for the local residents, balance between visitors and local residents, and embrace the human storyline. The project title is called The Synthesis, and it is a metaphor from the chemistry that I borrowed, meaning when two reactants combine to make a better and more complex product. In this circumstance, it indicates the process of respecting the legacy of this place and also revitalizing the neighborhood. And this is my master plan. I chose these areas to be the detailed design process. They're the charging station, with the Hub Labs Hall and the industrial park with the rail trail and as well as the pedestrian bridge, and finally the makerspace. First of all, a future projection will include urban infill in the deserted car lots. The new townhouse will line through the existing grids and leave space for front porch and backyards. And here is my plant list. The project timeline starts with phase of remediation and relocation of the deserted vehicles, and then integration of the trail and the parks to address safety issues in second phase. And finally, the ideas of Hub Labs Hall, makerspace, and charging station will be implemented by the year of 2030. Now, moving on to the industrial park. Because it is a culturally significant location, there has to be a way to channel local residents to visit this place, or even visitors. The method is to first by extending the newly opened trail by Hazelwood Green, indicated by the color of pink, and the proposing connection of color of blue. As you can see on the pictures on the left, there are already existing trails by the rail line. And it makes sense to extending the trail into this neighborhood. And this also creates an access to the industrial park and also allows for people to explore along the way. For the design process of the industrial park, I used grids from the old mill and the existing grids, shown on the blue colored grids and the red colored grids. And also use a path along the trail and create a path that dissect through the open space. And finally, a place for center of attraction. The first feature is the walking loop, and the width of the walks varies to allow different activities from social gathering to individual contemplation. And the central fountain is a place to gather. Finally, green patches will be designated areas for display of community arts as suggested and co-designed by our community members. Now, through the background research, the word solastalgia, meaning a form of emotional or existential distress caused by environmental change. And this will translate to some of the residents' feelings. They need something for them to remember and to heal. The idea is to create a monument that reflects on the daily life of the local and design that translates almost like a black and white picture. And it was a conversation with one of the local residents on the site visits that gave me the concept. They remember that there is a fog coming out of the factory every Sunday, even from afar. And the fountain does not just like that. It mimics the form and the intuition. Although the fog is replaced by water vapor that provides refreshment in the hot summer times, and also a play area for the families. As you can indicate on the picture here, this will be a space of center for attraction, and there are seatings provided on the perimeter of the space. And finally, onto the pedestrian bridge. My design strategy is to have a minimal touch, but make the structure safer and more appealing. Programs of the swing under the column as indicated on this graph shows that this area is for families and kids to enjoy in the industrial content. And here is what it will look like along the rail trail under the bridge. And now moving on to the makerspace. Being on the edge of the neighborhood and close to recycling facilities, there are advantages for this space to be an innovative center. And the idea of this makerspace is to provide technological assets such as 3D printers and small learning spaces that will benefit the overall wellness of the neighborhood. And According to the innovation research, Hazelwood is one of the most innovative focus area in the city of Pittsburgh, and only makes sense to implement an innovation center in the neighborhood of Hazelwood. And the method here is to have the innovation center or makerspace that's situated in a place for stickle strong towing that used to belong here. And as the land values rise in the future, there's might be more viable options for them. And the idea is that the architecture will be retained and renovated. And these colorful containers that meaning different classrooms such as innovative labs, including equipment such as 3D printers, laser cutters will be provided. And each container have different zones and activities. And the shared working space will be a productivity booster for the local residents. And also the central space is defined by the wooden staircase spilled out to the outdoor open space. And of course, there are scenarios in this space. On weekends or special calendar events, the block will be turned into an open area or open square for activities such as exhibitions, music festivals for the local residents. And at the time, street vendors or food trucks or small activities will be allowed and encouraged. And this will be a place for the residents to gather as well. And this is the outdoor plaza outside the makerspace. And the idea is to have an extension to the interior. And the tree box will provide shades in the summer times for people to have tables and chairs and enjoy their private times. Now moving on to Hub Labs Hall. The Hub Labs automobile has been a key contributor to the economy in Hazelwood area. However, as the land increase in its values, an option of developing into a hall for the residents to sell their local produce might be a more viable option. And the programs includes the charging station. And one thing about the charging station is that it usually takes more than 2 or 3 hours when the charging is complete. And during the meantime, the driver or the families will welcome to go to the Hub Labs Hall to check out the local residents' produce. And of course, there are the local produce market and dining, and there are the outdoor garden area for people to sit as well. And this is how it will look like. And finally, I just want to say that throughout this process, I can't do this without the help of our key contacts and the help of the local residents. And I hope in the future, the synthesis reaction will actually create a better Southwest Hazelwood. Thank you.